You might be a fan of movies like this, or this. Not because they provide you with any high values, but they are just mindlessly fun to watch. And you enjoy that thoroughly. It resets your mood. Today, I've kinda the same niche for YouTube also. Plus, it's faceless. And AI-based too. Introducing stick figure animations, which are racking up millions of views on YouTube. And while creators are cashing in with this strategy, most people don't even realize how it works. So, in this video, I'll show you exactly how these deceptively simple, story-driven animations are made, step by step, even if you've never animated before. You'll know how to turn any idea into a viral video that keeps viewers hooked and grows a profitable faceless channel. This channel started uploading videos just 6 months ago, and it already has a 160,000 subscriber base, 12 million views, with just 14 videos. How much they earn from this is even more unbelievable. It's around $11,000. But honestly, their videos aren't providing any value or solving any problems. It's all about just mindless entertainment. Now let's take a look at this channel. The channel was created 4 years ago, but they have been working in this niche for 7 months. They have only 18,000 subscribers and 3.8 million views with 25 uploads. But they are also earning around $5,000 every month, making these mindlessly fun videos. If you look closely, you will find common topics between these channels. Top 10 logos to slide on, top 10 logos to live in. The video topic doesn't make any sense, but they are fun to watch. Cartoonish animated presentation, simple whiteboard art, and stick figures. These are the perfect combo for this recipe. By the way, just because I'm calling this mindless, don't think you shouldn't take it seriously. Even in this niche, you need to set a pipeline of topics first. When you select a topic like this, you need to think less about real-world importance and more about 3 elements: novelty, absurdity, and visual imagination. Novelty is about choosing something people have never seen before. But it also must be easy to picture when they read the title. Absurdity adds a layer of, "This makes no sense. I need to see it." Visual imagination is key here, because people instantly create an image in their heads when they read "logos you can live in." The more absurd the picture in their head, the higher the chance they'll click to see if the video matches what they imagined. So the process of picking such topics starts with brainstorming ordinary objects or concepts, like logos, doors, chairs, snacks, and then forcing them into impossible or unusual scenarios. You show those ideas as if they are part of a list or ranking, because lists make it easier for people to watch. They don't have to sit through a long story. They already know what they'll get: short, easy-to-watch pieces. And to systematize it, you can use ChatGPT or any brainstorming tool in a structured way. Start by giving it a base category, like logos or doors. Then ask it to generate scenarios where those objects can be interacted with in impossible, exaggerated, or humorous ways. Once you get raw ideas, filter them by asking, will the title create instant curiosity? Does it make someone imagine something strange without explanation? Is it absurd, but harmless? If the answer is yes, you have a viral-worthy topic. So, I will give this prompt to ChatGPT. Give me a list of unusual and absurd video ideas in the format of top 10 ordinary object. You can impossible or funny action, making sure each idea sparks curiosity and creates a strange visual in the viewer's mind. The ideas should be original, playful, and instantly clickable, even if they have no practical value. Hit enter, and you will get a ready-made list of 10 or 20 ideas immediately. This way, you aren't shooting in the dark. You're deliberately designing for curiosity and click potential, rather than expecting informational value to carry the video. And the same absurdity and simplicity should reflect on your script too. Let's say, we will work on top 10 logos you can live in. It means, first, you have to gather 10 logos that give a vibe like you can live inside. This is weird to explain. But for example, if you take Google's logo, you have a slight chance to live inside there, especially under those shaded curved parts of the G. But if you take Microsoft's logo, there's no way to get inside there, because it's a tightly fitted cube. You can also ask GPT to give some logo options for this. It's just a simple ask, no particular prompt needed. The search will become much faster that way. Once you have the list of 10 logos, ask ChatGPT to write about how to live inside each of them. 200 to 300 words for each. You decide the topic, the style, and even the mood. The AI just follows your lead. For example, I chose Pinterest logo, and I will give this prompt to GPT. Write a 300-word script in a casual, story-like style about how you can live inside the Pinterest logo. The script should open with a catchy hook, weave in relatable situations, and sprinkle in a touch of humor. You will instantly get the script. And now, it's time to go for voiceover. For narration, you have two choices. If you're comfortable recording yourself, download a free tool called Audacity. Plug in a mic or headset, press record, and read the script. Done. But if you don't want to use your own voice, you can turn your text into speech instantly. If you want the voice to sound real, like an actual person speaking naturally, use ElevenLabs. After signing up, you'll see a dashboard with tons of voices to choose from. You can filter by language, accent, gender, or even age. Say you want English in an American accent, or maybe British or Australian. You'll find it. Always pick the high-quality option because it makes the voice clearer and more human. In my test, I found a voice called Mark. It sounded natural, like a real conversation. Smooth and believable, not stiff or robotic. Once you pick your voice, copy your script from ChatGPT, paste it in, and hit generate. Within seconds, your voiceover is ready. But remember, never give it the full script at once. Always feed it part by part to get better results. Here's a bonus. Every time you generate a voice in ElevenLabs, it gives you 2 different takes of the same script. That means if the first one feels off, you can use the second without changing a word. Usually one of them ends up perfect for your video. And that's it. You start with a script, give it a voice, and you're ready to move forward with your animation. One of the most important parts of this video is the stick figures, those cartoonish human figures you see. I used to get stuck on one simple problem. How do you make stick figure videos look as good as the big viral channels? But you can get it from sites like Pixabay, FreePic, etc. They come in batches. You need to download them in zip file. Some of them are free, while some might cost you money. For this video, we will use the free stick figures, and then just open Filmora and start fresh with a new project. The first thing you set is the canvas. My canvas is automatically set at 1920 by 1080 as the size, with 30 frames per second. This is a safe standard for YouTube. Next, bring in your assets. For example, now I need 3 things: the Pinterest logo, the voiceover, and a stick figure with no background. Since what we are going to do is called whiteboard animation, drag a solid white background onto the first track. This becomes your blank canvas. Now it's time to place the Pinterest logo. Drag it onto track 2, right above the white background. Move the playhead to the start of the timeline and double-click the logo clip to open its transform controls. Make sure it's centered, the size is set to 100, and the rotation is at 0. Extend the clip so it stays long enough for the whole animation. This logo will be the main subject of your sequence, so locking it in place at the center is important. But before the logo does anything dramatic, you add a little life to it. That's why we will add some wobbling. Start at the very first frame and set a keyframe with everything normal. Rotation 0, scale 100, position centered. Move the playhead forward about 6 to 12 frames. Set another keyframe here, but this time, tilt the logo slightly, maybe 5 to 8 degrees to the right. Push its position just a little sideways and increase the size to 101 or 102. Now move forward another few frames and create a third keyframe. This time, tilt it in the opposite direction, about -4 degrees, and adjust the position in the opposite direction. Finally, add a couple more keyframes that bring it back to normal at rotation 0 and scale 100. Open the keyframe graph and set the curves to ease in and ease out so the wobble feels smooth and natural. Play it, and now your logo looks like it wiggles in place before it makes its big move. What's the big move then? The next upside down flip. Decide when the logo should turn upside down. Place a keyframe right before the flip starts, with rotation still at 0. 1. Then move ahead to the point where the flip ends and add another keyframe, this time with rotation at 180 degrees. If you want the flip to feel more alive, add an extra keyframe in the middle that overshoots a little, maybe 190 degrees, then bring it back down to 180 at the end. Watch it back. And now the logo not only wobbles but also flips over in a clean, playful way. Next comes the clever trick with the blue line passing through the white P. As the Pinterest logo has a transparent P area, you can just place the blue line underneath, and it will show through. Go to the top menu and open Titles, then Plain Text, and then Default Title. Drag it to the track where you want your line. Now double-click it to open the Advanced Editing panel. Instead of typing text, switch to the Shapes/Draw option. Filmora provides a line/pen tool under Shapes. Select a thin line shape, change its color to blue, and adjust thickness to look like a pen stroke. Place it where you want the animation to start. Now, draw the full blue line inside the Pinterest logo's opening. Start with a very short version of the line, using scaled X or Y small. Add a keyframe for scale/position at the start. Move the playhead forward and stretch/slide the line along the path. Add intermediate keyframes to bend or curve the path if needed. This makes it look like the line is growing from one end. Play it back, and you'll see the blue line sweep smoothly through the P's shape. Now, finally, it's time for the stick figure. Import it and drop it onto a track between your two logo copies. This layering is the trick. The top logo layer hides parts of the stick figure, so when it moves inside, it looks like the figure is actually going behind the rim of the P. Set up position keyframes so the stick figure starts off screen, then slides into the logo. Add rotation keyframes to tilt it a bit, so it feels more alive, like it's actually walking or diving in. When the figure reaches the first curve inside the P, you make it bounce for a touch of fun. At the entry frame, set a keyframe. A few frames later, set another with the scale slightly bigger, maybe 110, and the position lifted up. Then add another keyframe to bring it back down to normal. With quick easing, it feels like a playful bounce. Now guide the figure along the inner curve of the P by adding position keyframes tracing the path. Use curve handles again to make the path smooth. If you want the figure to face the direction it's moving, add small rotation keyframes at the turning points. Adjust the spacing between the keyframes to change how fast or slow it flies. A few sound effects, a little wobble sound, a flip whoosh, a line sweep, and a bounce pop will complete the illusion and make it much more engaging. Finally, check everything. Play back the sequence at full speed. Adjust timing and curves until the motion looks natural and seamless. When everything feels right, export the video. Use MP4 format with H.264 at 1920 by 1080 and 30 frames per second. That's a safe, high-quality choice for YouTube. Adjust the bitrate if you want a smaller file size or higher detail. And with that, your whiteboard animation is ready. It starts with a wobble, flips upside down, reveals the blue line inside the P, and finally lets the stick figure join the action. Clean, simple, and polished. Do this with every logo in your list. And finally, you got your video ready. Animation is a powerful tool. Once you master it, you can be more creative about all these things, and that will bring more fun to your viewers. So don't be shy. Just practice it, and add more fun and creativity. That will help you skyrocket both your views and earnings. And for more tips and insights on running YouTube faceless channels using AI, subscribe to this channel and follow our work. Now let's check out the demo video.
Logo number 1. Pinterest. At first glance, it looks harmless. Just another app logo, sitting quietly on your phone like it has no secrets. A little circle with a neat white squiggle, deceptively useless. But the moment you flip it upside down, everything changes. What you thought was a logo suddenly transforms into a full-blown Olympic-grade half-pipe, hidden in plain sight, waiting for some unlucky soul to drop in. And drop in you do. The chute of the P sucks you downward like a cursed vending machine swallowing coins. There's no gentle slide here. It's violent, it's fast, and it feels personal. By the time you hit the first transition, your body is being tossed around with G-force levels that only fighter pilots brag about. But there's no escape route, no smooth exit. You keep moving. Faster and faster, until you crash face first into an invisible wall. The impact scatters your teeth across the red abyss like broken Pinterest boards, organized by theme, but still heartbreakingly messy. A little creative, a little tragic, and very, very sad.